Hello, I'm Senator Mike Enzi. If you've been watching the news lately, the disaster that is Obamacare has been front and center as millions of people have been losing their health insurance that they liked. On top of that, folks that are supposed to get their insurance through a government-run exchange or face a fine that they can't get through the site to sign up. It's a mess. I want to say thanks to all of you that have contacted me and shared your stories and concerns. This law was poorly and deceptively constructed in 2009, and people are seeing why now. Some letters that I've gotten. Ann from Casper says, I don't care if 10 people, it's un-American to lose it. Laura from Kemmer asks, why is the president issuing executive orders to change the law when that's not legal? Dwayne from Gillette says, suddenly the House has a plan, please enlighten us. Laura from Rolling Hills asks, I'd like to know what the Republicans in the Senate are planning to do with the information. John from Gillette asks, how are we going to get toothpaste back in the tube? Well, the president several times has said that this is settled law, that there can't be any changes. Yet, he changes at least 2 things a week that wind up to be deathly for Obamacare. He says that Republicans don't have any ideas. We've been sharing ideas with him for 4 years. He hasn't been listening. I have a 10-step plan that's on my website that would have done more than Obamacare and been paid for, so it would be sustainable. It would let you keep your doctor, keep your hospital, keep your insurance plan. But the president just kind of takes those and runs them through a major shredder. I tried to do a rule change. I read the regulations. I hate to admit that, but we have 45 days after a new regulation comes out to do a petition for Congress to be able to get a motion on the floor. And that's virtually the only way we can get past Harry Reid's control of the United States Senate. I found out that if you do like your insurance, you can't keep it according to the regulations. So I put in a bill to repeal those regulations. The Democrats voted against it unanimously. Now they're having to answer for that, and I think they're a little bit shook at that possibility. Now, some of you asked me about how Obamacare's failures have gotten this far. Others about my involvement in the Gang of Six that worked on health care reform before President Obama went ahead on his own. Jeff from Evanston believes that I gave Obama cover on the passage in the health care bill by initially being part of the bipartisan Gang of Six that negotiated in 2009. Chuck from DuBois wanted to know why, after so many years, Republicans haven't been able to stop Obamacare from hurting Americans. And Tom from Rock Springs wants to know why Obamacare wasn't fixed 3 years ago when it was known that Americans wouldn't be able to keep their health care. When the president came to the United States, came to the presidency, he had 60 votes in the United States Senate. 60 votes will achieve anything you want to achieve. But Leader McConnell appointed 3 of us to be part of a task force with another 3 from the Democrats. And we tried to get Republican principles, Republican ideas made a part of any health care law that was out there. Again, I'd refer you to the 10 steps that I have on my website that were there before the president became a senator. And those are ideas that would work, that would be sustainable. And I was appointed to try and get some of those into the bill. After a while, we could see we weren't making progress on it, but we did keep the president from having government-run health care virtually from the moment that he became president. We stalled that off and were able to take a look at some other principles. We weren't successful at getting them in the bill, but the president gave a speech to a joint session of Congress, and he made promises in that speech. I took copious notes, and at the next day at our meeting, I said, you know, there are 14 things the president promised, and they're not in the bill. So that's the point where they threw the Republicans under the bus and the president went ahead with the plan that he had, which was different than anything that we'd discussed. And that's what we wound up with. And it was poorly planned, poorly executed, and you can see the results now. The website's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the part that you can see that's flawed, and it's only a third of what you're going to see, and the other 2/3 hasn't even been done yet. So it's something worth worrying about. It's something that has to be fixed. I think that there's a huge movement now, particularly from the other side of the aisle, to try and fix it. Doing the things they should have done 3 years ago when I brought that up when they changed the regulations. So hopefully we can get something good out of this. I've tried to repeal it, I've tried to defund it, I've tried to dismantle it. I have 17 different bills that would make a difference in that law, but we're not able to bring them up unless Harry Reid wants them brought up. So I thank you for watching and keeping me informed. Make sure to check my website and social media pages for more information on what's going on in Washington and what I'm working on for you. Before I go, Diane and I wanted to wish you and yours a happy Thanksgiving. We all have a lot to be thankful for as Americans, and I hope your holiday is spent with loved ones and those you're thankful for.